This episode brought to you by Audible.com/Horror Virgin.
For
30 days free and a book to get you started, guys. And for your book recommendation, Mikey.
Hi, welcome to Mikey's Book Corner. Today I'd like to recommend The Dog Stars by Peter Heller. I read it in book form, but you would enjoy it audibly. It's about a guy and his dog, the post-apocalypse, and him finding happiness with what he has.
There you go.
Nice. So, guys, check out The Dog Stars. And if you want 30 days free and a book to get you started on Audible, go to audibletrial.com/horror virgin.
Yeah.
This episode also brought to you by Nick B.
Hey, Nick B.
And not a website.
Nick B would love for you to check out God Country. It's a movie being made by our friends at the Modern Horrors Podcast. You can follow them at God Country Film. Right?
It's God Country Film on all the socials, and I believe the website is godcountryfilm.com. This episode also brought to you by Carl.
Hey, Carl. Welcome to the Cool Club.
Carl didn't have anything specific he wanted to plug, but I do want you guys to check out his Twitch channel at twitch.tv/CarlosMOL. Go check him out. Give him some love. Tell him you're also in the Horror Virgin family.
Carl, he's really nice to me, and I appreciate that. There's
Carl's
a lot
a
of
great
nice
dude.
people on the internet.
Yeah. And honestly, everyone on Patreon's doing extra, right?
Yes.
Everyone that just tells people about the show, whether they support us monetarily or not, are doing extra, and we appreciate all of you guys. Honestly, just listening is more than enough, so thank you guys so much for that. But if you have some free time in your day and want to tell someone about the podcast, please do. That's great. It really helps us.
Yeah, and speaking of, we're going to read one of our 5-star reviews.
Oh, yeah,
Also,
Mikey.
Another fantastic way to support the podcast for free, and it really doesn't take hardly any time at all.
All right, gather around the phone, everyone.
Oh, geez. I feel like I'm in the olden days.
So this week's review is by Peloplanesian.
I honestly think that's how you say it.
That's Peloplanesian.
Yeah.
Let's go through it, shall we? It's really long, so bear with me. I keep laughing at my desk at work, and my coworkers think I'm insane. You can get it 5 stars.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that review.
Thank you so much for the review. And if you guys want your review to get read, leave a review.
Yeah. Also, we are not responsible for anything that happens to you at work while you're listening to this podcast. No destruction of computers because you spit drinks out on them. We will
Have you
not
ever
pay for
actually
those
done a spit
computers.
take laughing at something?
I haven't.
I
no.
have.
Have you?
Yeah.
How did she take it?
Gross. Hey, can we please bring the theme music
I don't
in?
like any of this.
Let's get it started. And the premise of the podcast is now you and I talk, and Jen just comes in and yells every now and then. Oh my God.
I'll do it. That could be our April Fool's Day prank.
Jen
my
had a
God.
traumatic brain injury, but we're going to keep her on the podcast. Very progressive.
Oh my God. That was terrifying.
Welcome to the Horror Virgin, everybody. I'm Jen.
I am shit. Mikey.
You
Hey, everybody,
forgot
I'm
your
Mikey.
name. And I'm your horror virgin, Todd. And today we watched the movie.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
This movie was terrible. This is the last time we watch a movie that...
None of us have seen.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
What?
I mean, it wasn't great. I don't love it. But
It also came out in 1986.
That's true, yeah.
I give a lot of leeway to movies that came out in the 80s because a lot of them were bad. I mean, the ones you remember were amazing, like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future, but they were rare gems in a sea of shit.
Yeah. For me, this was like so bad it's good kind of territory.
That's okay. Honestly, yes.
I was entertained by it.
I would recommend you watch this movie, but no, it's to make fun of it.
Oh, yeah. It almost reminded me of a not as funny Clue.
Holy shit, yes. Absolutely. So if you took Clue, took all of the jokes out of it,
Yeah.
and then replaced Tim Curry with Biff Tannen, then you have
Biff
this
Tannen
movie.
really happy. Like Biff Tannen, like high on Xanax.
Loved him in this movie. I'm not even
Oh, yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
Biff Tannen in this movie is amazing. He's actually a stand-up comic, or he's done some stand-up comic works. And if you Google Biff Tannen question song,
It's really funny.
it's
Todd played it for us
hilarious.
after.
It's really just him answering questions that like Back to the Future fans have been asking him for years. But he does it in a fun, kind of welcoming way. I love
Yeah.
it. It's very funny.
It was really funny.
But he
was
really
great in
gets to
this movie.
showcase his personality, I think, in this one, because in the Back to the Future movies, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's just an asshole through the whole movie.
But in this, he's great.
And, yeah, in this movie, everyone's the asshole.
Oh, that's true.
well, in this movie, the viewer is the asshole.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get in this fucking movie.
Okay. The movie opens, and you're immediately bored.
No, okay, so the movie opens.
It opens on Mary O'Reilly O'Toole doing an interview on the docks.
Yeah, and it's like really grainy, shitty found footage from the 80s.
Because they have a Betamax camcorder.
Yeah. Future porn director, I don't know, baby Johnny Depp.
I don't know. They all look the same.
They all look the same, yeah. But yeah, so there's a guy filming and she's talking about Mary O'Toole or whoever she is.
Mary O'Reilly O'Toole.
There it is. She's talking about how she's like this wholesome, lovely person who wants to work with the handicapped. And then she's entering convent school. And then she says something that's
and
like.
I fuck on the first date.
And she fucks on the first date.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
April
supposed to.
Fools to us. And then the cameraman learns what Zoom is.
Oh, yeah. Dude. This is immediately when I knew.
Close-up.
Yeah, it does feel like Wayne's World on some level, except instead of Wayne's World, instead of Wayne and Garth, it's this chick's bush.
The whole movie does feel like a movie that was made for like public access television.
It does. It really feels like an expensive student film. And then it cuts to a real camera.
Yes.
Which isn't much better. So what you have is a dock full of young people, 4 or 5 of them. There's so many characters in this movie.
Yeah, but this is where they set up the premise. They set up that we're going to Muffy's Island and staying for spring break.
Muffy's Island.
Her island cottage house. Yeah,
Muffy's Island sounds like the beginning of a Pornhub like title.
It really does. Yeah.
Muffy's Island for spring break.
Spring break at Muffy's Island.
Oh, yeah.
So the next thing we cut to is Muffy in the basement of her summer house, and she is
In the basement of her summer house.
straightening up. She's dragging around some mannequins.
It's just one mannequin. Yeah, she's like in the cellar setting up a mannequin and propping a window open.
Yes. Yeah. And then
I have guests coming. You have to move the mannequin.
Yeah, and I definitely want the basement to fill with, strange animals and insects.
she turns around and she sees a Jack-in-the-Box on the shelf, and she goes over and looks at it. And then we have a flashback. It's a birthday party, and it says April Fool's Day. And I guess this is like the title card of the movie. But so we assume it's her, but all we can see are a close-up of the eyes. So you
Like
can't
strangely
tell who
close
it
up
is.
on like a 6-year-old's eyes.
Yeah, and only one also.
Only one what?
Only one
Child.
kid opening these birthday presents.
Yeah, this comes back
How
later
many
on.
kids normally open birthday presents at their birthday?
Do you
If
not
there
remember
are
the premise?
twins,
Yeah.
there are 2 kids.
You realize that there aren't twins, though.
I know,
What
but the
she's
movie's
saying-
trying to tell us there are twins.
Yeah, the movie gives it away right here in the beginning.
Yeah.
There was never any twins.
I never thought there was a twin.
I mean, it could have been.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
So this birthday party has like random older people and they're eating
In
cake.
suits.
Yeah.
It looks
Did you
like
see
a,
any other
Very
kids?
formal.
No.
No.
It looked like an Easter Sunday party.
Yeah.
It looks like a human sacrifice.
That's not what they look like.
What? How do you know that?
So anyway,
I know all about Isaac and his son.
so she's opening her present, and she pulls out this creepy Jack-in-the-Box with
Yeah,
like little
because-
ducks on the side.
This is why no kids wanted to go to her party.
Yeah.
Her parents are the worst.
And these are the presents that 70-year-olds give kids on their birthdays. Yeah. Oh, I had this Jack-in-the-Box when I was but a wee girl.
In 1890.
Yeah, exactly. I made it with my bare hands. And so she opens it. And so flashback Muffy is like rubbing it against her cheek and like slowly.
I don't think she's rubbing it against her cheek. She's not like licking the side of it.
There was
It's not.
definitely a sexual
It was
Jack-in-the-Box
weird.
element.
She was putting it like up against her ear to hear the music or something. Yeah,
She's like, oh.
She just really wanted to savor it. Actually,
I don't
what
think
she wanted to
happened.
do, she didn't want it to pop up. So I think she was trying to do it as slow as she could and just stop it right before it reached the pop up section of
we've
the
been there.
Jack in the Box.
You gotta be
game.
careful about that.
Yeah, you got to be careful when
You
it
don't want
pops
any
up,
little
ladies.
Jack-in-the-Boxes coming around.
Yeah, then you got a mess on your hands.
Yeah, you do.
So the Jack in the Box, and ironically, the monster that comes out of the Jack in the Box is a small flesh-colored monster.
Oh, dear God.
Let's go back. I'm going to say it doesn't look like a penis, and I'm going to say it looks like the alien popping out of the
It
alien.
does look like the alien from Aliens.
Which
yeah.
is also around the same time, right?
And also kind of looks like a penis.
And I only know this from Spaceballs, though, because they sort of reprise it in Spaceballs. Like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Yeah.
So it cuts back to
and she's like, oh.
reality.
This is the worst best present ever.
And then we paused. We're like, that family's really mean because that's her only birthday present.
Yeah, and she's rich. She should have friends all around her trying to glom onto money.
She should have all the Barbies and the dream house and the car.
She does have a lot of Barbies. We'll talk about that later.
But they look like homemade Barbies. Like when you actually look at their faces, they look weird.
I don't look at Barbie
I think
right
they're
in the
house
face.
poor because they bought an island and they don't have a lot of liquid income.
Well, that's island poor. And they
Yeah,
don't
they're
need
island
liquid
poor.
income because the house is surrounded by water.
Yeah.
Duh.
I don't like that.
Stop being. And not only is it surrounded by water, they've got a well.
They do have a well.
It's fine,
yeah.
Mikey. What are you
And
thinking?
it totally doesn't have dead bodies in it at all.
It actually doesn't, Jen.
That's true.
We'll get there. Anyway, so that's like the first scene, right? She's setting up, and then we cut back to them on the dock, and then people are arriving. And honestly, it's 9 college-age students. They're about to graduate, but they all look alike, and they're all sort of annoying.
Various stereotypes, too. There's like kind of bitchy girl, and then there's prude who wears a lot of denim. Although
Everyone wore denim.
everywhere, and one
There's
of them
denim
has
everywhere.
a doily.
This may have
on
been
her
filled
denim.
in. Yeah, one of them had a doily stapled to her denim jacket.
There's a lot of vet. This basically is it looks like a 2-hour long Pepsi commercial from the 80s.
Yeah.
You have like the most generic looking 80s group of people of all time.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
do.
the only one you're going to recognize is Biff Tannen.
You've got Loose Morals girl who already gave the interview at the beginning.
Yeah, she's the one who fucks on the first date.
Yeah, you've got Super Prude who shows up.
She's got books. What a nerd.
She looks like Bobo Helen Hunt.
Yeah, she does look like Bobo Helen Hunt. And then you've got All American couple.
The stupid wannabe doctor and his girlfriend.
And his future trophy wife,
Right.
girlfriend. Yeah. Who and that actress was the final girl in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, and there's also Country Hick guy who you know is a
Oh,
country
yeah.
hick because
Yes.
he says, I'm a country hick. And then he talks in
He
an accent.
literally says that.
Yeah,
Also,
future Southern
You must
politician.
think I'm a country hick.
Yeah, because I sound and act just like one. And I'm from the South and I'm a hick. All right, so they're on the ferry and we've got Biff. And then we've got like mini Biff. Yeah, and then there's glasses emo cameraman guy who's hitting on bathing suit Afghan
He
girl.
looks like a Bobo young Johnny Depp.
He does, yes. I called him block of sunglasses or something.
I really
That was
like-
it. I love that.
But I really liked his Ray-Bans.
I did too. And
Yeah, everyone likes his Ray-Bans. That's why Ray-Bans are still like some very expensive sunglasses to this day.
yeah, that and Tom Cruise.
Well, no, that's why they took off, because he wore them in Top Gun.
Isn't it risky business?
And risky business. He
Oh,
wore the-
no, it was risky business. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
But you're right. He wore the aviators in
Aviators
Top
of
Yes.
Top Gun, yeah.
The
Oh my
aviators, yeah.
God. You think Ray-Bans is behind his whole career?
I know they're behind the Church of Scientology.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No.
Oh.
Why would they?
Well, I don't know.
If you put the glasses on,
Then you can see
the
clear.
ghost.
Yes. That's how you can see the next
I do
level.
love that you can see Thetans with Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Like, we're confusing 13 ghosts with Scientology. I
You have
love
to pay
it.
that $50,000 to get to the level where they give you the
Ghost
Thetan seeing
bands.
Ray-Bans.
They're called ghost bands.
Oh yeah.
now that you've paid $1
course.
million, welcome to this clear house. We're going to give you your Ray-Bans to see the Thetans inside the house.
Just a bunch of idiots wandering around in sunglasses, like sitting on the floor.
We're sitting on a gold mine. So anyway, there's, I think, 5 guys and 4 girls. And that's the 9 people on the ferry going to Muffy's Island.
Yes.
And only one's a couple. Only one's a true couple. So
One's
it's not
an
a
official
weird
couple.
situation.
Yeah,
for the
some of them
fifth
pair
person.
off a little bit later, but it is just stupid wannabe doctor and his trophy wife.
Yeah.
Soon to be trophy wife.
I like Dr. Guy.
He's got a lot of problems.
I
don't
hated
care
Dr.
about.
Guy
Yeah.
so much.
I hated everyone in this movie, but I at least liked him, I guess.
This
No,
movie
they
is
were just
1000% like white privilege, the murder mystery.
Yes, it is.
It's
Absolutely.
horrible.
Like, this would definitely be a Lifetime movie in which someone has filed a lawsuit against all the other children
Yeah.
because they're like, why would they do that over the spring break? I can't believe rich people.
I know.
Yeah, like his biggest problem is that he got into to medical school and
No, he
his
didn't get in.
No, he did get in.
No, we didn't get in.
He didn't get in.
No, he
because
didn't
his
get in
advisor
big-
says he was too silly.
Yeah, he's not serious enough. And meanwhile, we never see him even make a fucking joke in this movie.
I know.
He's all morose and
He's
shit
just
about not getting.
mope the whole time.
He didn't get into med school.
I honestly think it's not that he didn't get in, it's that they hadn't accepted him yet because they mentioned early acceptance. He didn't get early acceptance because he wasn't serious enough, but he still can get in.
yeah,
Right.
with
He just has to
regular
prove he can be
acceptance.
serious. Yeah.
This explains why he's serious the whole time because he's sad, right?
I just think he's real dumb. Like, I think cognitively he's slow.
No,
like the choices that he makes in this movie show you that he is not bright.
No. He first off, the advisor did say he had the grades to get into med school. I remember the conversation.
Yeah.
Second, just because he said he's too silly, there are silly doctors. What about Patch Adams?
Yeah.
I met Patch Adams.
Did you really?
The real Patch Adams, though, right? Not Robin Williams. Yeah.
I haven't met Robin Williams. He was great.
See,
Very
there you go.
left-wing.
Was he wearing a big red nose?
He had one and put it on. He also called the president a murderer in a room full of fourth graders. There
Anyway.
are funny doctors. This one is not funny.
Patch Adams is not funny?
No. The doctor in this movie.
So everyone's on the ferry and they start playing the stretch game, which I'm trying to figure out.
They
what
never actually
the
tell you
point
how to
of
play the stretch game, but it seems like one of them throws the knife and it sticks into the ferry, and then they have to like reach out and grab it without moving their feet. I don't really quite understand the premise of this game, but
with a switchblade knife, it's so weird.
The entire point of the stretch game is for there to be a plausible reason that someone would throw a knife around someone else.
Why wouldn't you just be like...
Because they're setting up an April Fool's Day joke.
No,
Yeah.
but like, wouldn't the obvious be like, let's try to throw the knife and see who's more accurate? Like like darts?
Yeah, but then you have to have a target. Like the stretch game, you can play wherever you are.
The prank could be the guy accidentally walking by the target and getting hit with the knife.
I mean, you put an apple on your head.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There's literally millions of ideas that are better than the stretch
anyway,
game.
so they're throwing the knife into the ferry, and the other one tries to reach out and grab it, and they pretend to get into a fight.
And they keep falling over because they can't reach it because somebody,
Yeah, Biff Tannen, terrible
And
at
then
the stretch
Biff
game.
gets mad, and he throws the knife at the guy who we think is the cousin, and it goes in his stomach, and he falls off the ferry into the water.
Yeah.
And everyone loses their shit, like, oh my God, what's happening? And there's two guys jump in after him.
Yes, it's like the boat workers. It pushes Biff out of the way and then dives into
Biff's
the
like,
water.
I'm gonna go in after him, and then they're like, no, Biff. And then,
Yeah.
I still like the movie at this point because I thought this movie was going to be about a bunch of people accidentally dying on April Fool's Day, which like sounded funny.
I don't know. I did some research on this, so I kind of knew what was going to happen.
I honestly thought he may have died.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, the kill
movie
looks effective.
had been goofy enough too that I would buy this goofy kill too. You know?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I bought all the goofy kills in this movie. I was like, this movie's so dumb.
Anyway, so the two boat workers that jump in to save this guy are like, we can't find him, we can't find him. And then you see him climbing up the boat laughing like, ha ha ha, we got you, stupids.
Yeah.
April Fool's Day.
You know what's not funny? Pretending to fake your death on April Fool's Day.
Right.
You know what else isn't funny? People who, for their wedding proposal, fake their death. Have you seen that?
Wait, what?
No.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube and see like the one that I remember very vividly is a guy who's like on, I think like a 3-story roof. So it's not super high, but he's on the roof and he's proposing to his wife or who becomes his wife. And he like bobbles the ring, like pretends like he's dropping it.
I saw
and
that.
he falls off the roof and she thinks, you know, this guy she loves and is about to propose just died in front of her eyes. And then she looks over and sees the "Will you marry me" on the street and he's like in those big blow up inflatable pads. Don't do that shit.
Don't.
That's real insane. Like you're putting your loved one through a huge emotional trauma real fast before they have to make a very important life decision.
Yeah.
And you are giving them a very good reason to say no.
Absolutely. And you might actually die.
Yes.
And then you're screwed. Yeah.
What?
So the next thing that happens is Boatman is jumping into the water trying to lasso the boat.
No, he's like,
to
I'm
the
going to
dock.
tie the boat off.
Yeah, which is a boat thing to do.
Which is also something you don't do from the water.
No, you
wait till you're
don't.
close enough and then throw the rope around the thing. I don't know what it's called. I
And the
apologize.
reason you don't do that is because you get squished by the boat and
you
the dock.
might get a very painful boat kiss.
Yeah.
The best part is the boat's slowly creeping. He's trying to toss it up, and he never looks behind him.
In Austin Powers, there's that scene where like the steamroller is like moving closer and closer, and he's like, no, and then it goes to wide shot and it's really far away, and he's like, move. I felt like this was like that scene. Like Austin Powers ripped off this for that, but made it actually good.
And the whole time we're talking about this, there's like a boat captain. He's like a salty old boat captain. Like he wouldn't have let that guy do that.
He wouldn't, but he wasn't watching until the very end. Then he says, no, and he tries to run down and like save him somehow. But yeah, he gets squished by the boat.
He does, and he pops back up, and in this being squished by the boat and the dock, his eye popped out.
Yeah. It
So
got
now
pulled
he's-
out by either the boards or the boat or something.
I don't think that's what would happen if your head got squished.
I don't think so
but
either.
hear me out. Like if you're gonna be a legit sailor, you're going to want an eye patch.
This is how you get promoted.
Yeah. He's like,
in that world.
Yeah, I know you thought that was weird that I told you to get in the water, do that, but now you're first mate.
Yeah. Matey.
Yarr, you get your
Are
own
you
plane.
going to be needing an eye patch? Anyway, so they pull him up onto the boat, and he's running around the boat, eye hanging out of his eye socket. And the boat captain is like dragging him around, and he throws him into like a motorboat.
After like flinging him all around the dock.
Yeah, and then the sheriff's hanging out in his little motorboat like, oh my God, I was here just coincidentally.
Yeah.
Comes over with his motorboat. The pirate captain punches him in the face and throws him into that boat, and then switches boats with the sheriff for some reason, and then he
steals
takes
the sheriff's
off.
Yeah, it's insane.
Now
In
he's-
accordance with boat law, I get to commandeer your boat, matey.
And it's a lake. I don't understand what's going on.
It is a lake. What is happening?
I mean, you can still have boats on lakes.
Yeah, but not like, I don't know, not Pirates of Maritime Law. I don't know. This was like Pirates of the Caribbean too much for me.
This was like Pirates of the Caribbean.
I was about to say, Mikey, it's a lot like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So anyway, the 9 people that are crossing over to Muffy's island are just
And the
like,
constable.
I'm sure he'll be fine. We're
yeah,
going to
he's
go
fine.
and have a fun spring
We're
break.
rich and we don't care.
like
Yeah.
spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they walk out, they're like, he's probably getting really good medical care.
Oh, yeah, he's fine. Yeah, so they get to the island and it looks kind of shitty and run down when they pull up. And then they're standing on the beach and the constable's like, okay, I'm going to take your boat and go back to the mainland to check on this guy. And this is when she says where she's got the keys to the boat.
It's in
Yeah.
the kitchen, I think.
Under a cushion or something. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
So he takes the boat, and I thought this was the only boat they had on the island. So I was like, oh, that's why they can't get off the island. But there's another boat.
There's one canoe that's flooded with water, and then there's another motorboat, but they don't really talk about it.
Yeah. Then they go to the fancy house. They get in their 2 vans and their old truck. It's like Bella's truck from Twilight. So this girl has got this
It is.
super fancy
Not that
house.
I've seen that movie.
No, not that I have either.
And they also have like an old Dodge Caravan.
Yeah.
They're like the wealthiest people in Maine at this point.
They're
driving
lake house
an old
mansion poor. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
They're like, we had this Dodge Caravan assembled by hand on the island
Yeah. It's antique.
by children of another country. And then we killed them in the well.
Okay, so then they go into the fancy house and they're all wandering around. And they
Are they wandering around? I thought they were just like, don't they just like hang out and drink champagne and then at 7 they go to bed?
No, they go into the dining room, which is set with paper plates and paper cups and a spork.
Yeah, there is a
And-
spork, yeah.
and,
Barbies.
Yes, and champagne. And everyone gets their Barbie that looks like them. And then also, the whole house looks like a creepy dollhouse from like the 1800s. And it looks like a shitty place to spend spring break.
I don't know. I think the house looks kind of. It's a fancy house. It's just an old fancy house. Like
It's a
80s
big fancy house. The inside isn't awesome, but the outside's pretty
You can
great.
definitely tell they looked at it on Airbnb and was like, that's going to be awesome. And then like it was all like Photoshop.
Yeah, it's like haunted too. There's lots of like Afghans on beds and stuff.
Fun
That's
fact,
true.
it's a doily heavy movie.
It is. Okay, so then they're making dinner in the kitchen and they're making like hot dogs. They make some joke about like somebody tonight's going to pull their penis out, and then they show a hot dog coming out of the
bag,
package
yeah.
right into the frying pan.
They're making franks and beans.
Yeah. So the girls are in the kitchen, taking their Cosmo
Because it's
quiz.
the 80s, and that's where they belonged in the 80s, apparently.
I know, but people
I'm on your side, Jen.
or it's just a house party, and a lot of people hang out in the kitchen at house parties.
That's true. It is all the women. What were the
Where
men
are
doing?
the men, though, at this point?
They're watching football.
Are they really?
Just as genderist.
I know. That's why I said it. They're not actually watching football. That's just
There's no cable on
stereotypical.
this island because it's the worst island ever.
It is the worst island ever. Yeah, the ladies are in the kitchen taking their Cosmo quiz, which is
that's what they were
very
doing,
sexual
yes.
Cosmo quiz.
Well, it's Cosmo. Of course it's very sexual.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I liked Cosmo for a while, but every article, even the ones that are about like serious stuff, always comes back to like how to make your man have an orgasm.
Making your man have an orgasm is like standard.
Oh, yeah.
It's also the easiest thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's definitely going to happen anytime you have sex. The real trick is to figure out how to have an orgasm yourself.
Well,
ladies.
that's true. How to wear your eyeshadow so you can find your G-spot later.
How to create a smoky eye so you can find your G-spot.
Exactly. Where to register to vote so you can find your G-spot later.
Man, I don't know any of these positions.
Okay, so they're taking their Cosmo quiz.
This episode's going to be insane.
And the questions are like real graphic.
They really are, and that's what Cosmo quiz questions are like. Lots
But it
of
got
times.
like more graphic as it was like, when was the last person who was like, A, I kissed him. It was like, B, we had sex. And it was like, see, we involved farm animals. And they're like, I don't know which one I'd pick. What's B again?
One was like super painful and I wasn't into it. That was A. The second one was like B. It was
right,
okay, but I really love him. C was like, it's great and I had an orgasm. Like, those are the saddest choices ever.
Well, it was like the first time you had sex, what was it like? That was the question, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the second question was like, well, what are the things you want to experiment?
What have you not tried yet, but you're super curious about?
That's it.
Yeah, and it was like everything. Like there were like, I think you got all the way down to F.
Yeah, there were a lot of things.
And
By the way, the F was for fucking.
Above.
I remember A was for anal. I remember that one for sure.
No, B was for anal.
How do you know which one it was?
You know what I'm interested in is a loving, supportive relationship. I don't know what number that was, but
Mikey is single, ladies. I don't think Cosmo has a test for you. All right, so then we cut from the kitchen scene to the dinner scene, right?
Yeah.
This actually was sort of, I think, a cool scene.
Hold on. Before that happened, we had not Biff talking about his daddy issues and his sensitive dad.
Biff is.
No, it's the cousin. He's outside talking to no one. He's like, you know who I hate? My father. He's like, I was like, yeah, bro, I can relate.
Yeah, and Prudy Helen Hunt is just sitting there like, I can't tell if I'm into this or if it's really dumb.
She's like, we've never met. And what is going on?
How much have you had to drink?
I'm going to go to dinner. You should probably come.
At the end of the scene, I wanted her to be like, oh shit, were you talking to me this whole time? I'm sorry. I have no idea what you're talking about.
While he's like, hey, I hate my father.
She's reading Paradise Lost.
She is,
And when she mentioned Paradise Lost, I was like, found it. It just made me really miss Nathan from...
we love you, Nathan. Nathan would have destroyed all of these idiots.
Yeah, Nathan would know how to kill all of these people very easily. Nathan, I love you. We got to interview Nathan. I love Nathan so much. We're talking about Nathan from Leslie Vernon, guys. Check out Leslie Vernon. He is a monster in it. He's amazing.
He is, yeah. He would have taken all these morons out.
Oh, I love Nathan.
I mean, these guys are pretty dumb. It wouldn't be that hard.
That's true.
Sure, like you, me, and Todd.
Yeah, Muffy could trick them all.
And speaking of Muffy tricking them all, at the dinner, she tricks a lot of them. Well, no, she tricks all of them in various tricks. The first one is, as they're talking about eating Franks and beans, like, what are the beans going to make us do? And one of the chicks sits on a whoopee cushion.
And then they all sit on whoopee cushions.
No, it's just one.
Is it just one?
It's just one.
They're like, that's a fart.
And they're like, oh, do you guys remember when whoopee cushions were hilarious? Yeah, me neither.
How delightfully droll.
But then Biff sits back in his chair and his chair legs give out. I thought this was pretty cool.
Like, pop back in.
Yeah, and it reminded me of Nathan because he does something like that in Leslie Vernon.
Yeah, it's so good. But the chair sits back up by itself. It's very cool.
And Biff's like,
and then she pours them all champaign and then does a sort of nice, lovely toast.
She doesn't drink it, and I thought she was going to poison them all.
Yeah, we were expecting actual violence at any point in this film. It never happens.
It never happens, yeah. But all of the glasses are, I guess, sabotaged. So instead of going up to the lip and then into your mouth, it actually goes out the side onto your clothing.
I just do that normally. I'm just like, what?
I've seen you drink. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Just like regular things, not even alcohol.
No, this is like water.
Yeah.
But you drink the water first.
Water first, then take the pill.
No, we're not going to.
You guys are monsters.
I don't want to go down that road today.
This is where Muffy says, April Fool's Day or April
Fool's Day, bitches.
Something like that, whatever she says.
And then they talk forever.
I don't know because the sound levels were so low throughout the film I could barely hear anybody.
Yeah. It's a really slow, bad version of Weekend at Bernie's.
And everybody's way less interesting than Bernie.
And less people die in this movie.
That's true. Spoilers, guys. So then they have really long speeches. They talk about how nobody knows what they're going to do after college because really their dads are going to take care of all of them and give them trust funds so they don't have to worry about it.
Except at this point in the dinner, the group was like, oh, except for what's his face, the doctor guy, he got into med school. And he's like, I didn't get into med school. They said I was too silly.
I'm not serious enough.
Not serious enough.
I've never heard of that being your rejection letter for early entry into medical school.
No, that's dumb.
And I know a lot of doctors.
But no, he didn't get a rejection letter. His advisor is like, oh, you're too silly for med school.
Yeah, you've got to buckle down, son.
Because as a teacher, when people come to you and be like, you want to point out personal characteristics of their personality that keep them from being successful, they're like, I'm sorry that you're too nice to people to be successful.
Oh, I'm sorry, Todd. You're too fat for med school. It's like, I've never heard of someone being too silly to do any job. That's
a college
ridiculous.
advisor, but you're too empathetic for med school. You'd fail.
Yeah.
You fake your death too much to be a doctor.
But his girlfriend's nice.
She has hitched her train to that wagon.
She's hitched her wagon to that med school.
I have a different approach. She just really likes him and was very supportive of him throughout this week where he was really depressed that he found out he didn't get the med
She can't wait to get that alimony check, man.
Yeah, she knows she's going to be replaced by a younger version in 10 years.
So cynical.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm the only one that's been divorced.
Well, okay, what bugged me?
Oh my God. There's probably a lot of truth to that.
Right?
But she also, like, they keep talking about his career. Like, is she in college? What's she doing?
She's in college. They actually talk about that.
Yeah, she got that MRS degree.
Oh, my
God. Exactly. Yeah. And she's got to do everything she can to get her man through med school.
None of this is implied even.
Subtext. All of it's subtext.
Yeah.
Spring break.
She's got
to want to have sex.
She's got to give him some sad doing it on the dock so he can get over his not getting into med school problem.
Maybe she just wanted to do it on the dock. No. She's got agency.
Nobody wants to do it on the dock, Mikey.
I do. I want to do it on the dock.
Digging on the dock of the bay, watching the bodies under the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not to the dock dicking yet. And then everybody goes to their rooms because it's 7 o'clock and that's what you do after you have your fancy dinner
very
party.
late for these rich white people.
Yeah.
So they're all going up to their rooms and they start to couple off. Obviously, the dumb wannabe doctor and his girlfriend are in their own room, but also Bobo Johnny Depp, the guy with the camera, and the
cute one.
I think she's the cutest one.
Doily jacket?
Yeah, the doily jacket chick kind of couple up.
Cleopatra necklace.
I think it is Nikki.
Yeah.
That necklace could have blown her over. Like she's so tiny and she's wearing this huge fucking necklace.
If she went swimming, she would have sunk to the bottom.
Yeah, she would have died. So Bobo Johnny Depp and the chick with the doily jacket pair off.
Yeah.
Biff and the cousin end up in the same room.
No, Biff and the emo cameraman guy. That's where they are.
Yeah.
They're because remember
But
they're
he
trying.
goes out and has sex with her later.
But they're rolling around on the bed now,
Oh my
and they're
God,
talking
you're
about how
right.
they're sharing a room, but it's okay because I'm probably going to stay in Nikki's room.
And he does.
And he does.
That's
yeah.
why I guess it didn't pair off.
And Biff's
Yeah,
cool.
you're
He's
right.
supportive. He's like, yeah, go get it, brother.
Although then Biff, once everyone's in their room, goes trolling for booty, just
He really
room
does.
to room to
This is
room,
what- does it-
and
this is-
walks in on Nikki and Bobo Johnny Depp banging in the strangest position ever.
Yeah.
And I've read the Kama Sutra. That position is not sexable.
No,
Yeah.
Jen said this during the movie. She said they look like the Thing where it's splitting into two people.
It does.
There's just legs everywhere. It looked
It's like the thing sex. It's like crab sex.
It looked like
Crab
a sand
thing
crab
sex.
in bed.
Oh, that's how you get crabs.
This doesn't make any sense. This is a spring break where they haven't drank enough, and then there's like a formal pairing off at the end. I felt like it was more like I don't know what was going on.
It's like rom-com pair-off kind of stuff. Like everybody's having fun, you know.
Well, and they're also finding out that their rooms are also pranked.
Yes.
So like Biff's door handle slides off in his hand and he can't open the door.
He's got the backwards chair in his room too.
Right. The backwards chair or the chair that makes him fall?
Chair that makes him fall backwards.
Right.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, and then in the dumb wannabe doctor and girlfriend room, there's like the painting with the eyes.
Yes.
And they move the painting into just that cat
It's-
with the eyes.
And
that go
I
back
really
forth.
liked that.
I thought that was funny. Yeah.
The cat.
Is it Felix?
I believe so.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So their room actually had the
Who's their room?
the doctor,
Boring couple.
brooding doctor,
What you meant to say was dumb wannabe doctor and girlfriend.
And future trophy wife
brooding
girlfriend.
sad doctor who's coming to terms with the reality of his situation and supportive girlfriend.
Who's just too silly.
Who's had a problem for the first time in his entire life.
Oh my God, you guys, they're just people.
This is the first time he hasn't been handed something and he's
Right.
brooding about it. Yeah.
we don't know. He could be on scholarship.
And the
We don't have
problem is
context.
silliness.
He's from like the mean gritty streets of Baltimore.
Killed a man.
He like pulled himself up by his bootstraps, has no idea how he got invited to an island spring break party, and we're shaming this man.
Yes. He found a beautiful woman to support him, and she's like, he came from nothing, has no support.
Maybe that's why they decide to prank these two people. Maybe they're not in the 1%.
They're not old money.
That's what it is.
Oh my God.
It's like an elaborate hazing thing.
Either way, I hate
And
them.
if they could have figured it out, they got invited to the country club dinner.
It's like a really fucked up version of like Michael Douglas's The Game.
but
For like
it
poor
is.
people.
It is like that. Oh, I love that movie though.
I love that
Yeah.
movie. So
Go on.
So anyway, in that room, they had the best prank because he's super brooding hard. And
Oh yeah, and they're almost naked. Like he's wearing the loosest tighty whities I've ever
Yes.
seen in my life, to the point where they look like an ill-fitting diaper on a toddler.
They really do. There are some men that can pull off some tighty whities. Walter White being one of them.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is like that's the underwear you turn to when you're brooding and sad.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No
That's your
man
sad Sunday
should wear
underwear?
tighty whities.
You don't wear them until you that's your lowest point. That's the whole point.
That's how you know you've hit rock bottom when you have to put those
No,
on.
rock bottom is sweatpants that no longer fit with nothing underneath them.
You mean
that's rock bottom?
It's like every day for me. Am I just living rock bottom?
Yes.
I like baggy sweatpants. Anyway, he goes to turn off the lamp and the light.
So he just has to parade around the room in these whitey tighties fixing these lamps.
Because as he turns off the lamp, another light in the room goes on.
Yeah.
And so he has to go turn that one off and then vice versa. And it's just all around the room.
Scene because she starts laughing in bed and he's trying to be like sad, but he starts laughing.
It is funny. Yeah. It is funny.
And it brings them closer together.
Yeah.
As a dumb wannabe doctor and trophy wife, yeah.
Can we just all hate Muffy together?
I mean, I don't like Muffy.
I don't like any of these people.
These people. No, I like some of them. I like Biff. I kind of like Nikki and Flock of Sunglasses guy.
Yeah, Flock of Sunglasses is pretty great.
No, team doctor.
I even kind of like Helen Hunt because she's so over the top in her like
She's
prudy
super
sadness.
busy reading Paradise Lost. Found it. I love you, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan. Oh, and so there are some other clues in the bedroom. Like Southern politician man opens the closet and he sees like 6 killed in car crash.
I
and
do
then,
declare.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Yeah,
I do declare a murder happened.
there has been another murder.
So Bobo Lindsey Graham is like opening different places in his room, and there are like news articles about murders or just suspicious deaths.
I hope there was a hamster that lived in here, not murders everywhere.
Why do you want a hamster? In here?
Because that's what they poo on.
Yeah, they poo on newspaper. Get the joke. I do a good Southern one.
You do, yeah.
Well, I mean, we live in Nashville.
I'm from
true.
Mississippi.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense now. So, Jen, do you know why these articles are there? I didn't know.
I think it's just to freak them out. Like, there's another one, Nikki.
At the end, they have this big reveal, like all of these pranks and what they meant to people, and like half of them didn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel like this pays off at all.
Yeah, not really. Afghan Nikki, like her water fountain sprays all over.
This is
an
not
amazing
nationality. This is someone who's wearing an Afghan on her jean jacket.
Yeah, it's like stapled to her jean jacket. She's not from Afghanistan.
Poor fashion choice,
She
Nikki.
looks like 80s Beauty and the Beast, like if like a piece of furniture came
There
alive.
was an 80s Beauty and the Beast with Ron Perlman. It's amazing. It may be early 90s.
Linda
I
Hamilton.
apologize. Yes.
So Nikki opens her drawer and she pulls out some bondage gear. And she's like,
Yeah, it's harness, and those are the handcuffs for the harness.
yeah, that's like the wrist strap thing.
I
I thought those were the
assuming.
constables.
Todd's friend told him.
Yeah,
Right.
I have a friend who's
may or may not have dabbled in this.
I don't have enough sex to specialize.
Listen, if it's happening, I'm just happy to be on the team.
Yeah. Just happy to be there. Came here to play.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to fuck. Yeah.
Okay, and so then we see Sad
Jen
Helen.
hates us.
Oh yeah, Jen.
No, I don't hate.
Whenever we're talking about bondage gear and or just happy to be having sex, Jen's just over here shaking her head. SMH.
It is my job on this podcast. Yeah. But Sad Helen Hunt hears what is supposed to be a baby crying, but does not sound like what baby cries.
1000% sounds like a baby crying.
What I thought was
It
that
definitely
somebody
does.
had gotten into all of the bondage gear and was making the sounds that you might hear when somebody has been experimenting with that. Because it sounds.
No, it sounds 1000% like a baby.
All right, so she opens up the closet and there's a tape of a baby playing, which is going to come back because she gets pretty upset about
No,
it.
she bursts into tears right now.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
That's right, for reasons.
And we're like, is this all on purpose? We're just confused the whole movie.
Yeah, because that's the only one that really seems to have any kind of connection, and I think it was an accident.
Yeah, everybody else is like, what is all this
She's
stuff?
like,
what's going on?
I forgot Helen Hunt had an abortion when I
Yeah.
put the baby tape in the
Well,
room.
and we
I
don't
sent
know that
her
at this
to.
point either. So we're like, we have no idea what's going on. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure you could sort of extrapolate that by seeing what happens, but they do confirm it
I don't
later.
think
Yeah.
she did it on purpose. I think she just randomly put shit in rooms.
Exactly.
Oh,
But-
yeah. I don't think it was malicious.
She's like, oh.
All right, so then we have Drunk Ryan.
Who's Drunk Ryan?
Yeah, who's
Drunk
Ryan?
Ryan is cousin Drunk I Hate My Daddy,
Oh, yeah.
who is
Oh, was this when he goes to the boathouse?
yeah, he's still
Yeah.
before cutting some grass to go smoke it like it's weed, but I think it's poison ivy.
If we go back, he wasn't at the dinner party.
No, he
wandered
wasn't.
away and no
He
one
was
cared
drinking on
whole
the porch
time.
the entire time, and Helen Hunt was tired of hearing about his bullshit, so she went into the dinner party.
She puts her book away, puts the bookmark down. She's like, I'm not your therapist. I'm going to go have some beanie weenie.
I
Yeah.
don't charge hourly.
She kept like holding the book higher and higher over her face so that he would see that she was reading.
In the business, we call that the book off.
Is it really?
I have received many a book offs. Yeah.
I've given many book offs that didn't work. There was a guy that I used to go out to the pool. I used to go out to my pool and read. And this guy would come out and just endlessly tell me stories about his dating life. And I would just like be turning pages in his face and like,
oh my God, I'm that guy.
Except you like pop your hip so it dangles. I know how you work.
Gross. What's dangling?
My tidy whities.
It's all about that BDE, Jen.
All right, so Drunk Ryan goes down to the boathouse after cutting a tiny piece of grass for some reason.
Is that what weed looked like in the 80s?
I think
Yeah, it was real weak. It's not the good shit they have now, I guess.
It's just like cilantro, like growing
Yeah.
on the side of the house.
So he goes down to the boathouse and he's just creepily wandering around, and then a cat gets thrown at him, and then he gets grabbed from behind, and then we are led to believe that he is dead.
We assume he dies, yeah.
Yes. If I had not read what I had read, I would have bought that they were all dead, and maybe they just didn't have the budget to show the deaths. You know?
They don't show any of the deaths in this
They
movie.
don't. Yeah.
There's no action in this movie at all, except
No.
for in the boat when the boat squishes the guy.
Yeah, not really.
We don't even see
And
that.
We don't even see that.
We just see that hit the dock.
But that's the most action we see in the whole movie.
That's true.
We see a boat bump, and that's it.
I don't know. There's a well scene. There's a little action in that well scene.
Yeah, that if you think that what's going on in that well is real, it's a little eerie. Like
Oh yeah, I don't like well.
that scene is why this movie's not a 1 for me.
Yeah.
What?
It messed with
This
me.
movie's not a 1 for you?
It's very
I don't
close
wanna
to.
go there.
We'll get to
there.
it.
But like, why? Okay, when we get to the well scene, I have some thoughts.
So then I wrote down morning weirdness because it's just a bunch of bizarre shit happening in the morning. So we walk down and we see Biff in cutoff shorts with like a lacy flowered trim on the bottom. And then Muffy.
Listen, Buff is very secure with who he is as a man,
Biff?
but not as a character.
He is. I mean, he is rocking those shorts.
He is.
You know?
This is also when, is it Nikki is like topless stretching out of her window.
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
has like a button down shirt over it so you can't see anything really.
And we
But
talked
it's,
about-
it's a pretty sexy
it's
stretch.
stretching, and it's like the cartoon morning music. Like,
Yeah.
And then Bobo Lindsey Graham is on the dock, like doing those wrist stretches. I used to have one of those exercise things back in the 80s with like the big spring, you know?
Yeah, it's like the 80s version of a shake weight.
Yeah.
And he looks up and he's like, howdy there, good morning. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh,
But he's
How
got,
dare
like-
you look at me when I'm stretching out the window?
Exactly. And he's got like his workout stance and his workout outfit because he's serious about like burning his wrists out, you know?
this movie feels like a fever dream at this point. Oh, because they come downstairs, those two people are outside doing that.
Muffy is in the kitchen acting really weird. And she
she
goes,
looks like
I forgot to get dressed. And then she runs upstairs.
She looks like
By
she's
the
been
way-
electrocuted.
Yeah, she does.
By the way, she's fully clothed in this scene.
She is. Yeah.
She's got clothes on.
Yeah.
And her hair looks real weird, and she's like
Yeah.
dirty and black.
Well,
Yeah.
this is supposed to be when you think this is Buffy, not Muffy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Or when that switch happened. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because she's all dirty and her hair's in her face and yeah.
Because the night before, she was really like
Outgoing and
fancy
fun. and-
dinner
yeah.
hostess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like everyone else is like, oh, that was odd. Let's play soccer.
Yeah. And so they go out onto the lawn and they're all wearing their weird clothes and just kicking the soccer ball around. And Fashion Choice Nikki has got these sweatpants that are like 5 sizes too big and they're like pulled all the way up to her rib cage and rolled down really
Yeah, and she
weird.
also has like
a midi shirt top thing.
yeah, it shows her midriff. It's pretty hot. Like I'm
mean,
not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
she
I'm
can
into
pull
it.
it off, but
I
it
like
is weird.
exercise.
Yo,
What's her
Nikki
face?
could get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Well,
did.
Anne got it from
got it.
Flock of Sunglasses.
From Crab Thing.
Yeah, crab sex. There's just legs everywhere. I'm like,
I know.
these people don't have 8 legs.
I
together.
honestly, guys, I want you to go back to that scene, pause it, and count. I think there are 5 legs.
Yes, it's like they stole a piece of some appendages off of the mannequin and just like held them out in different positions while they were doing it.
Yeah, and then like when they're actually humping, it just looks like 2 Cirque du Soleil performers are holding each other's ankles and rocking back and forth.
Yeah, and
but
the-
not in like a sexy way.
It's
There's
weird.
no way either of them finished in that position.
They couldn't. They probably pulled muscles.
That's why Nikki wasn't playing soccer the next morning.
That's right.
That's why she was stretching. She's like,
got to walk it off. And then Sad Helen Hunt is sad reading on the porch, and she doesn't want to.
She's really trying to finish
participate.
Paradise Lost. She wants to find it.
She does. She wants to find out what happens at the end of it.
Yeah.
But she's like, I just want to see what Muffy wants to do. But we find out a little bit later that she's sad because she has apparently had an abortion.
Yeah.
And this crying baby thing is a really fucked up.
It's
prank
triggered
to
her,
play
yeah.
with
does it say
somebody.
abortion or does it say adopted either too?
Somebody says abortion later in the movie. I don't remember what they exactly said when they were saying, because she gets in a fight with Muffy about it later. She's like, why would you do that? I can't.
No, it was right now because she waits for Muffy to be by herself, I think.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost chick walks away from the porch, and that's when Muffy walks over to her and is like, what's going on? And she's like, fuck you. I had an abortion or whatever.
Right.
What's with the baby sounds in my room?
This is also where the wannabe doctor and his girlfriend goes off to the boathouse and start to boathouse banging in the boathouse.
No, he's moping around the boathouse and he's like, I'm never going to be.
Oh, and she just straight up grabs his dick.
Yeah, she's like, come with me. And she like, leads him in by dick.
Yeah. She knows she's got to pull him together so he can get through medical school.
And she knows how to do that.
And the whole time she's like dealing with his emotions. I thought it was a very sweet scene.
Instead of him dealing with his own emotions.
Sometimes people can deal with emotions together. You guys are so mean to them.
They're the worst.
They really are.
Anyway, so she lays down and he gets on top of her.
She spreads a teeny tiny towel out on the dock and then they lay down. I mean, I guess if...
It's not really the dock. They're in the boathouse.
They are in the boathouse and you can see the water through it.
Yes. So it is... I mean, honestly, the boathouse is just on the dock.
Yeah, but
and it's like a shack on the dock.
Yeah, but you got to put a towel down. You don't want to get a splinter.
That's right.
That's actually pretty true. Anyway, so they start having sex and then... Well, I don't know if they're actually having sex yet, but then Jack from Titanic goes under them on the door.
Who is actually Sad Daddy Issues Ryan, who died in the boathouse the night before. And he's floating on the Titanic door. So Jack from Titanic floats on top of Rose's door underneath the dock like 3 different times. And finally, future trophy wife looks over and sees him and goes, ah!
Yeah, she's the first to see him, even though her back is to him.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have seen him. Like, if I'm making out with somebody, it's just not like I'm on a date with a bunch of TVs.
Well, you're just proving why the man wouldn't see him. But the woman was bored and she was just looking around, you know?
I'd have been like, no, it's an otter. Don't worry about it.
It's an otter. Anyway, so she thinks it is pretty odd and she better yell about it. So she screams and they all go, whatever.
And so they go in and nobody believes them. They're like, no, he just got really drunk and wandered off.
And a lot of them separate to go see if they can find him.
Yeah, but he is missing. Yeah.
If they see his body under the dock, where did it vanish to that they can't just be like, oh, it's right there under the dock?
Right.
Well, like tides and stuff. I don't know. Maybe he fell off.
No, I mean, they scream immediately. They start looking immediately. It would be right there under the dock still.
Or like floating a couple of yards off of the dock.
See it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it vanishes.
It does.
And then they go on a search to find him.
Yeah, and they all split up.
Yeah, so Biff goes into the woods. I don't know anyone else goes, but Biff goes into the woods.
I think Biff believes it because he grabs a weapon and goes into the woods.
Yeah, he grabs some PVC pipe or whatever.
And he puts on some sweatpants too, which is appropriate because of those jean lace shorts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone into the woods.
No. Okay, so then we have a montage of him just wandering around next to a snake that he doesn't notice. And he must have walked past the snake like 3 times.
I don't know how you don't notice a snake next to you.
I have a story.
It's not a coiled up snake. It's a snake that's like poised up in the air, ready to like bite
It's like poised, ready to strike. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And so
I was jogging in a park and I ran into a snake and it headbutted me in the leg. And
how big was the snake?
You mean it bit you?
I thought it bit me. I had to go to an emergency room because I thought it bit me, but also I ran so fast after it headbutted me, I tore my calf muscle. And then I fell down a bunch of rocks and was bleeding. So I would limp into the emergency. I had to walk like a mile out of the trail because I'm like trail jogging because I was like trying to be skinny. And I called my mom and I was like, what's it feel like to be bit by a snake? Because my mom's a nurse. And she's like, go to the emergency room. So I pay $1,000 for a doctor to be like, yeah, you weren't bitten by a snake. Thanks.
Yeah, you got a skin knee.
Holy
Here you go.
shit.
Here's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And my calf muscle is still deformed from this day.
Was the snake like, April Fool's?
Nice. But he steps in a lasso thing and gets like hauled upside down.
It's like a lasso trap for your foot.
The plan was not for him to be lasso trapped on top of a snake. The snake just happened to show up.
Yeah. And then we see Feet walk over, kick the snake out of the way, and then walk up to Biff. Biff sort of has this strange reaction where it looks like he creams his jeans, and then it cuts away to somebody else.
Maybe just really like snakes.
Oh, kick that snake some more.
Every time we see these feet walking up, I imagine that it's like Muffy walking up and saying April Fools or something. This is when she's revealing, hey, you got killed off.
I
You're
think so,
not
too.
part of the
I
joke.
think so too because they showed the legs and they're definitely not female legs.
I think they
But it could have been her
They just showed
uncle
shoes,
or
really.
whatever. Yeah,
it could have been
because
uncle.
at this point there are a few people in on it.
Yeah, or maybe it's Eyeball Man who's not actually in the hospital. So then they all go back to the house and they're trying to call the police and they can't find Biff now. And it takes forever for them to dial and they finally get through to the police. And he said, I think this is when he says, don't trust Muffy.
Oh, does he say that on the phone?
I think so. Okay, and so then the next thing we have is the well scene. So they're going in, and Muffy's just acting really weird.
She's acting like Nell from that movie Nell.
She looks like she's been depressed in her bedroom for 3 years.
Yeah, it looked like somebody who had not seen.
Yeah, but this is we're supposed to think that this is Buffy.
Yes, yeah, Muffy.
Sure, but
she's acting differently, and so then the red water starts coming out of the faucet, and she's like, "Oh,
it's just muddy water."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, the water must be out. It happens sometimes." Luckily, we got a well.
Yeah,
Lindsey Graham and
Bobo Lindsey Graham.
Oh, pardon me, Bobo Lindsey Graham and Fashion Choices Nikki go to the well.
Cleopatra Nikki, and
she's got many nicknames.
I like this part because she walks up to him and she's like, "Oh, the well's like a real well."
Yeah.
Like,
what did you think it was?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a water well. There's only like 4 things it could be. All of them look the same. It's a well.
It's a gross well, though. I don't want to do anything with the water in this well.
No. Anyway, so Bobo Lindsey Graham goes to put the bucket in. After he's like, "I'd really like to court you, ma'am."
Yeah, because like 2 people being missing is the perfect time to hit on someone.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it, so I can't.
I'm going to be a senator
Nikki's hot,
one
man.
day.
I get it. Anyway, so he drops the bucket down there, but realizes it's not tied to the rope. So the bucket goes down there, and then he drops the flashlight down there, too.
The flashlight
oh, she
in
did.
there.
Sorry.
I do declare I've dropped the bucket. Please pass the flash torch. And flash torch. She drops it. He's like, "Oh, no, the flash torch is down in the well."
And then Nikki's like, "I'll go down the well. It's fine."
And he's like, "Why would you do this?"
And that's what we all were saying, too.
He's like, "You don't need to do that. We could just go back to the house."
Yeah.
This is so dumb.
There's a lake here. We can get water from the lake.
Yeah, we don't need water right now that much.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Fuck you, I'm going down."
Yeah, I have to prove that I'm an independent woman and can do it.
And she does, and she falls because one of the steps or whatever they're called.
Rings of the ladder.
One of the rings of the ladder falls out, and she falls all the way into the well. And this is where we start to see 2 heads and a full-on body in the well.
And
Not connected.
It's supposed to be Biff's head. Yeah, that's not the thing. I think it's supposed to be Biff's head and somebody else's head and sad cardigan Helen Hunt's body.
And I turned to Todd and Jen. I was like, "When did all these people die?"
Are they all dead
We
already?
didn't see. Biff is the only one that we think. Oh, and it's Ryan. Sad Daddy Issues Ryan.
Yes.
I
But
think.
just his head. So they had to remove the head from the body and then throw it in the well. It's a lot of work.
It's a
where's
lot
the
of work.
body?
We find out that none of this is real, right? It's all like fake head. So we find out that I bet that was real Ryan in makeup under the dock, and then they just threw a fake version of his head down in the well.
Okay, so this is really the only part of the movie that made me uncomfortable.
Me too.
Because I really don't like being in gross water where I don't like murky water.
It's sort of like The Ring.
It is exactly like The Ring. It makes me really...
Except no hot Naomi Watts.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So hot.
But yeah, it is really uncomfortable and it's suspenseful because for a while we don't know if they're going to be able to get out. And I was like, well, maybe they'll just cap the well off and they'll have to just stay down there forever until they die.
And Bobo Lindsey Graham is freaking out up top. I wanted him to go grab a hose and not realize that the hose was too short for the well and then just get jerked back like in the movie The Ring. I love that scene in The Ring.
That was so funny.
It's so funny. Yeah. But anyway, none of that happened. He just freaks out like a senator from North Carolina.
Just grab onto the ladder. Don't ignore the bodies. He's like, "Help, guys, help." And then he's like, "I guess I'll go down there."
Yeah, he eventually goes in there and helps her get out of there. But
And so they're all back at the house and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen and they think maybe it's fairy revenge from when the guy got squashed by the boat.
Yeah, which
they had anything to do with that.
Yeah, it was 1,000% the boat captain's fault.
It was, yeah. But that's the only thing they can figure out because there's no reason for any of this to be happening that they can tell.
Even this transitions to the worst slumber party ever.
Well, this is when they actually call the constable in the hospital. He says, "Don't trust Muffy. You've got to all stay together."
He also says that it can't be that guy who had his eye pop out.
Oh, yeah, it can't
because
be
I've been with him
Eye-Man.
at the hospital the whole time. It can't be him.
He's still getting fitted for his eye patch.
Right.
Keeping an eye on him.
Oh my God, I love it.
Okay, so then they say to stay together and they kind of get mad at each other. And
They stay together for approximately 7 minutes.
I know, and almost immediately everybody splits up.
Everyone's like sitting inside. It's like, we should all stay together. And then like one guy just turns to the next guy. And he's like, "You're a total fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I'm going upstairs."
I'm done with this.
You're like, "What is
That
going on?"
escalated quickly.
And then everybody cusses each other out. They're like, "We'll just go to our rooms."
Right. Sad doctor and future trophy wife, I think, go up to the attic to try to look out on the dock. dock and see if they can see boat lights to see if the constable's coming in the boat.
That's where I would have taken the whole group. I'd be like, we could go to the attic. There's only one entrance. It's hard to get up. We could defend ourselves, and we could all keep an eye on each other.
All of us get outnumbered. The one person who's trying to kill us.
I know we're all kind of mad at each other right now. It's that time in the spring break where we all get kind of mad at each other, but we need to just like pull it together for the night.
Suck it up. Yeah, but Glasses and Nikki start fighting, and she's ready to go. And I mean, I can understand she's been traumatized by this well incident, which would freak me out. So she wants to go. They're fighting. I think he kind of wants to have sex again. He's basically telling them, "Don't."
Of course he does, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He's saying, "Don't be hysterical. Calm down. You're not dead. Other people are dead, but you're not dead." And then he finds this bondage mask and puts it over his face, and is like, "Look, let's try something different tonight."
His strategy tonight is not. He's like, I know you're not doing well. He's like, I'm gonna put on this bondage mask. Don't you want to have sex now? And she's like,
No,
absolutely not.
I don't.
This is the worst day of my life.
And this is when she walks out of the room and you see the window blow or I guess the curtains blow.
Yeah.
And then when she comes back, he's still wearing the bondage mask. He's not breathing and he's got his hands over his crotch.
And he's still. And she sits on the bed and she's talking to him. And then she moves his hand and sees like a bloody hole where his penis would be. And we really don't see much. So it's the implication that he has gotten penised off to death.
Penised off.
There wasn't enough blood for that.
I know from current events back in the 90s that you can lose your penis and have it missing for hours and then have it reattached and be fine.
Yeah, if you stop the blood flow, you probably wouldn't bleed.
There just wasn't enough blood for him to be dead from that.
No, not at all.
Because he's not really dead from it. So she comes back in, she realizes that he's been penised off, and the door slowly opens behind her, and she says, and then it cuts to upstairs awful doctor couple.
We don't see any violence in this.
I'm sorry, when she says penised off, I just thought of a Face Off, but where John Travolta and Nicolas Cage have to trade penises for some reason, and that's all I can think about.
Okay, then terrible doctor couple is upstairs talking about how weird Muffy is, and this is when they find the Barbie crime scenes.
Oh, that's right.
That are staged up in the attic.
Ridiculous.
And for some reason, all the male Barbies have a mustache, and none of the characters have mustaches.
Yeah, and they all have the same hair. So we've got several of the Barbies just lined up like normal. And these are the Barbies from Fancy Dinner Prank Party at the beginning.
Yeah, so that way you know they're tied to each one of them individually, and then they all died, so they just show the way they died.
Because there's a little bowl that's supposed to be the well, and a lady Barbie, and then two heads floating. And then there's a bed right next to it.
Tupperware.
It is, I know, with like a brown blanket in it that's supposed to be water. And then we see a Barbie bed with a bloody couple on top, and we pick it up, and this is when we see that these are like homemade Barbies because their faces look all weird. And they think, who can this be? Because they don't know those two people are dead. So then they go downstairs and they go into Nikki and Flock of Sunglasses' room, and we just see blood dripping on the floor.
On the floor, yeah.
Yeah. And then they say,
they scream dramatically.
They do. Okay, so then there's too long section of them both just kind of creeping around a dark room. And I kept expecting something to happen, and nothing happened. Like a door slowly closed, and then the doorknob comes off, and then a door back behind opens, and she walks through it, and I thought it was a closet, but it wasn't. And then she just kind of wanders into another room, and it's dark. It's a long scene
it's a long scene where nothing happens.
I can't believe we checked our phones at this moment.
Yeah, no, I know. You're
I feel
justified.
so bad for checking out during a boring scene. But I'll say this, at the end of this, that's where they find Buffy's clothes, right?
No, this is when they find
the couple was like, let's get out of here. Let's just go to the boat and get out of here.
No, this is when they find Bobo Lindsay Graham like hog tie hanging from the door frame.
Oh, that's right.
He says go, and they're like, we can't leave Muffy. Let's go to Muffy's room. They bang on it, open the door, and then he's dead.
There has been another murder. But he's hanging from the door frame.
They were like, remember when we almost had sex there, but we found a dead body?
Spring break, woo! They go to relive their romantic encounter. So they go, and they're going to take the other boat that's still there. And then I think at one point they're like, screw Muffy, let's go.
But that's exactly what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
The second someone died, I'm like, hey, I'm out forever. I'm never talking to any of you guys again because I've heard the premise of I know what you did last summer.
No, it was like, if 4 people are missing and 4 people are there, we're like, we should just leave them.
Yes.
They're probably hiding somewhere.
This is Muffy's island. She'll be fine.
Yeah, she knows where all the hiding spots are. Also, she's probably the killer. So they find find the boat.
Absolutely.
And it's like there's some unopened mail on the boat, and so they open it, and that's where they find this letter saying
it's
that
like a letter from like a doctor at an asylum or something.
Yeah, somebody's been in an asylum for 3 years and don't trust them. And I'm not sure why this is on the boat, but they find it and they read it. You
That's
gotta
what
get
you
out
do
of here.
when you're trying to escape an island really fast. Open the mail.
Right.
You commit a federal offense.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a clue in that mail. And they do say Muffy couldn't have been in an asylum. Muffy was at Vassar.
Dumb, dumb, dumb.
It is dumb, dumb, dumb.
Yes. So then they try to get on the boat, but there's no keys. And I was like, just get away from the dock.
Well, and then that's when Dumb's wannabe doctor says, the key's in the kitchen. We got to go back in the house. And she's like, no, I don't want to go back in the house. He's like, listen, we got to go.
Yeah. It's for your own good. I know
I'm not
best.
being silly anymore.
Yeah. And she wants him to make him feel like he's the man in the relationship. So she pretends that it was his idea to get the keys when it's the most obvious thing that they could have done.
And in all fairness, it was his idea. So they go back into the house.
God, he's going to be a great doctor.
So they go back into the house, and this is where they see Muffy, who they think is Muffy.
They grass creep back to the house, and they see the open basement door that we have seen Muffy prop open at the very beginning.
And they go in the basement, and this is when they see the burnt clothes.
Just like she wanted.
And they see, like, you know
Those
how
are
like
Muffy's clothes burned in the furnace.
And you know how they use, like on door frames to like measure people's heights or whatever? They had that in the basement for Muffy and Buffy.
M and B forever. Some little like hearts and crosses. Yeah.
Indicating that there is a twin.
Yes. And did they ever say Buffy? It does say the word Buffy.
It does on the wall, yes.
Yeah. Well, and we kept, because of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we had called her Buffy the entire movie. So this was a little bit confusing.
At this point, we all hated the film.
I didn't.
I did.
But I had said earlier, maybe she has an evil twin, like facetiously, and that's what ends up happening. So she's got an evil twin, but this is when Buffy nails the window shut.
Yeah, we don't see her yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, they don't see her yet.
They don't see her yet.
We see her. And then they go upstairs to the kitchen to get the key, and they see her outside the door, like shaking the door.
So why was she nailing the window shut?
So they couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So they had to go through the kitchen?
Yes.
Also, I would be a terrible murderer because it would take me forever to nail a window shut. I'd be like,
You know what you can't do quietly? Nail anything.
Damn right.
Ladies.
Okay, so she nails them in, and then she does the thing from Suspiria where she puts the knife through and she tries to unlock the door with the knife.
This is when they're up in the kitchen, though.
Yes, yeah. And she's got this giant knife, and she's trying to get in the door, and they're just running around screaming.
Screaming their heads off, yeah. And he's like, where's the goddamn key?
And
they're really scared.
Yeah, they are. So they get separated at some point, and he's just in like the mud room.
He gets like locked in the pantry or something.
Yes, and he's just like flailing around screaming
He's
for
like, lady. I don't know his girlfriend's name.
He's like telling his girlfriend he loves her.
I
like,
love you,
He
don't
thinks
die.
she's dying. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And he's trying to get out.
Yeah, did that tell you that that's sincere at that point? Because he's got a lot of emotion about her being in danger.
No, I believe that they really care about each other.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just am super annoyed by them. But so she is being chased. She is the one. She's being chased by Buffy now with the big knife, and she's backing up and about to get stabbed. And I mean, Buffy does look a little bit creepy at this point.
Yeah, when she jumps onto the table, that was a creepy moment.
She looks more of the Fly's version of
Yes.
Buffy.
Yeah.
And then she goes and she's about to stab her, and she stabs right in the door, and it opens these sliding doors, and she walks back in. And this was a little weird because I expected everybody to say April Fools, but they don't. She just sees everybody, and it's like they're in a tableau, and they're like just reading a magazine, and nobody's really talking or moving very much.
They're just drinking or, shaking their glass.
But it's everybody that we thought had died. All the characters are just sitting in this living room. And then she turns back, and finally Muffy's like, and she shows him that it's a trick knife. And then she's like, April Fools. Yeah. Meanwhile, boyfriend is still screaming.
He's still begging his
Dude,
like,
he's in there.
Please don't
he's
die.
in there for a while. So they're explaining to the wannabe doctor's girlfriend about what it is. And then like 2 minutes into that, they cut back to him, and he's still yelling. And we see the guy with the pop-out eye in the room with him. Yeah.
Comes up and creeps behind him, and then peels the eyeball thing off of his own
Doctor
face.
punches in the fake eyeball.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but it's patted by the eyeball, and then he peels the eyeball off of his face and sticks it onto Doctor.
And he's still screaming. He gets out of the pantry or wherever he's stuck, and he runs into the, smoking room. room or whatever it is that there's
the parlor.
I don't know. I'm not that. I don't have those kind of problems. I don't have I own my own island problems. So they run into that room, and that's when he realizes it was an April Fool's joke, and then he desperately needs better friends.
Yeah, they all do.
Him and his girlfriend sit down. So the whole plot comes out. Muffy's like, see, I was going to inherit this house, but I needed to prove to my dad that I can make it profitable. So what I'm going to do is trick people like you. They're going to have a murder mystery weekend.
And they sit on the couch and they're like, okay, well, fuck all of you guys.
Yeah.
Right. And then
you're the worst.
Oh, you bought it. Yeah. And then we find out that Skip was really her twin brother. So she really does have a twin.
Which makes,
it didn't need to, he could have just
that
been the
did
cousin.
not need to be in there.
Yeah, because the S is not the other letter. It's not B and S.
That was
M and
fake.
S.
Yeah, they faked that.
But it would have been better if it was his name, and then they wouldn't have to fake it. It would have been a real height chart.
She had unrelated people come and stand so she could measure their heights.
That made nothing makes any sense at all. Like if that was my group of friends, I would have like fought everybody immediately.
I would have just got up and left and never talked to any of them again.
I would have punched someone.
I don't know. I think it would be kind of fun.
What? To have it happen to you?
I don't know.
It'd be fun to be in on it. It would not be fun to be out on it.
I don't think I could be in on it because I'd be like, I would watch them being terrified. I'm like, guys, we've gone too far.
Yeah, this is a little
They're definitely
too much.
going to need therapy.
It's one thing if you are at an actual murder mystery thing and you've signed up for it and you expect something is going to happen, or like if your spouse has and you know there's going to be somebody who's like a safe person, but like one of these people could have easily killed somebody else.
Yes,
out of like self-defense stuff. Yeah,
my ex-girlfriend had cheated on me, took me to a murder mystery like dinner party. It was a lot of fun.
Was it fun? I've always wanted to go.
I've always wanted to do one of those. We should go. We should all go together.
It's the person you most medium suspect. That's who the murderer is. Okay, so they're talking.
She actually contacted them and sent them a picture of me. So the guy who died had a picture of me on his body. So I was like one of the suspects. There were people at our table who thought I was the murderer.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Did they know about the picture, or did they just like in general thought you?
They also they didn't know about the picture, but they also didn't know she was cheating on me.
Oh, yeah. Did you know she was cheating on you?
Not at that point, no.
Was there a picture of someone else in her pocket?
Probably.
Okay, so they are explaining the murder mystery, and that's when all of the boat people start showing up, and Eyeball Squash Man is actually like a makeup artist.
Yes.
And he's created these fake heads.
But the boat captain was the real boat captain.
Yes, he was. That the rich people have allowed to hang out with him now, and he got invited to their party because he
weird
pretended.
Like, we don't even need this explanation. And they go on about this for like 10 minutes.
And the constable is his uncle.
Yeah.
Her uncle. Yeah, so she's explaining everything, and they're slowly kind of starting to be okay with it and like, yeah, you got me. And then they just have weird champagne head dancing because they've got these fake heads, and one guy keeps like putting it on his
heads that were in the
it
well.
was. Yeah, and they're all just pouring champagne all over each other and dancing with these heads and like pretending to make out. And it's to what's the song? It's not "You're Making My Dreams Come True," but it's that type of song, you know?
Yeah, it's like 80s montage music. And
it's like everybody's happy now.
But like weirdly,
if this happened in the early 2000s, it would have been Semi-Charmed Kind of Life.
Yes.
It's that type of song.
Yes, because everybody's pouring champagne on everybody.
Go back and read the lyrics to Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. It's super dirty, and it's like in 27 dresses. Like it's in like the most like PG movies, but it's just like the do Scooby Doo. It's just like that part. But the verses are like about doing meth and getting oral sex and coming on this chick's face and then doing coke. Those are the verses. Yeah,
just ruined that song
awesome.
for me.
It's so great. I love that song. That album by Third Eye Blind was amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's their Pearl Jam.
They're one
10.
of my favorite bands.
All right, so the next thing we see is drunk Muffy up in her room. There's a gift on her bed, and she goes and opens
There's a gift on her bed.
There's a gift in the box, girl. And it is a box. It's a Jack in the Box.
It's a Jack in the Box.
And she's not sure what's going to happen when she starts playing with it.
Oh, that's how it always goes, Jen. Sometimes you're just not sure what's going to happen when you start playing with it.
Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small.
Sometimes you're going to get shot down.
I don't want to be in the business.
Sometimes you're just going to leave it where it lies.
I love you, Mikey. Please go on, Jen. So she's playing with the music box, right?
Yeah, she's playing with the music box, and she's shit-faced, and her champagne has fallen over and is just spilling all over the floor. And so the Jack in the Box opens, and right when it does, Helen Hunt, who's now dressed like a spy, just shows up and slits her throat from right behind, and then immediately turns around and gives her a little, like, a winky blinky, like
April Fool's Day.
Exactly. Which, taste your own medicine, man. That's what it's like.
This is the worst group of friends I've ever seen. Because like some of them didn't even didn't know each other. So I've been like that one person who didn't know the rest. I'd be like, I didn't have anything to do. And like, I want to tell you what, this is the worst fucking trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, not
Fuck
cool,
you guys.
guys.
But this is 1,000% a group of people that have never had to worry about consequences.
Yep.
Because like they just leave their champagne spilling onto the floor because it's someone else's problem to clean up.
Exactly.
I
They just
hate
fake their own
everyone in this
death.
movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Doctor and his girlfriend are probably like, we are never hanging out with these people again. We came up from the streets.
We are from the gritty streets of Martha's Vineyard.
Exactly, yeah. And so then we see the big reveal of this is that it's not a weird monster. It's like just a clown, like a normal happy clown. And then credits.
So the
And
whole
then
And that's
the
the movie. April Fools.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't hate this movie. It is a
either.
fun movie to watch and make fun of. It's
Yeah.
like one of those 80s, like, let's make fun of this movie while we watch it together sort of a thing.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Mystery Science Theater.
But definitely talk through this with your friends.
Oh, yeah. This
Yeah.
is a great background or party movie.
Absolutely. Let's do box office. So the production budget for this movie was $5 million. It actually made money. It made almost $13 million.
Well, they really
in
didn't have to
theaters.
show any kinds of effects, too. So they probably saved a lot of
That's
money there.
very true, yeah. But it made $13 million
Nice.
in the theaters.
That's the worst April Fool's joke of them all. Like if I went to that movie, I'd been like, this movie sucks.
I don't know that it was intending to be scary because it is just sort of a funny, silly movie.
I think it's supposed to be an April Fool's joke kind of movie. Like the jokes
and I
on
think
you
they
were not.
pull that off.
I think they do too. Yeah. As you're watching, because you guys were both like, I hate this movie. This movie is terrible. But you've kind of come around on it a little bit, you know?
Oh, I think it's a movie you'd want to watch with your friends and make fun of it while you're watching
yeah.
it, sure.
And it's like once you get over the fact that somebody got you with their April Fool's joke, you can kind of sit back and say, yeah, I enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I knew what was going to happen. I kind of knew what was going to happen. So as I was watching it, I could kind of let some of that go.
Do you guys do April Fool's jokes?
No.
Nah, not really.
I don't either.
I mean, I just don't have the time, man.
Yeah.
I'm busy. But yeah, let's do Jen's Fun Facts.
Okay,
Jen's
Fun Facts. Okay, so this movie is a Canadian movie. It's an American-Canadian movie, and I think most of it was filmed in Canada.
Is it safe to say it's a North American movie?
It is safe to say that.
It's a Mexican, American, Canadian movie.
Listen, this movie was made by the council at NAFTA.
Yeah.
So this used to air late at night a lot, and it kind of became a cult classic because it was one of those movies that was just on TV a lot.
Same thing happened with It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, and so
the copyright ran out, so it was free to play on TV. So they just played it all the time.
Right, and that's Night of the Living Dead. There were copyright issues with that. So it's one of those movies.
I didn't know that.
And back when there were only limited channels and you couldn't just watch whatever you wanted anytime, like
Right.
you kind of just have the TV on and watch what was on. And so this movie was just playing all the time. And I think it's like kind of like a comfort horror movie. You know, it's not really very scary. You could
It's
just
not
watch
scary,
it.
yeah.
Watch it while you're doing your homework or something, you know? So I could see that it getting a cult following. So the I Hate My Daddy guy is Griffin O'Neill. Do you guys know who he is?
No.
Okay, do you know who Tatum O'Neill is?
I do know who Tatum O'Neill is.
It's-
The name is familiar.
It's his brother.
How do I know Tatum O'Neill?
She was in Paper Moon with her dad. Somebody O'Neill I think Ryan O'Neill was her dad, but he was in Love Story. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because Griffin O'Neill, it's ironic because there's a scene where he accidentally dies on the boat dock and there's somebody who gets in a boating accident. And Griffin O'Neill had a drug-induced accident on a boat that killed Francis Ford Coppola's son, Giancarlo Coppola.
This fact isn't fun at all.
And that's why we don't really know him because he didn't do very much after that. Because
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Francis Ford Coppola is the kind of guy who can tank your acting career if you
Yeah.
kill his son.
Yes. And I don't know a whole lot of details of that story. So this was loosely based on the Agatha Christie novel, And Then There Were None, which is controversially also titled 10 Little Indians. But we're going to say And Then There Were None, which is like people disappearing one by one at a dinner party. So loosely based on that. Okay. So my last fun fact.
The last fun facts were already there.
Yeah, there's not a ton of fun facts. There
fair.
wasn't a whole lot of research.
It is
about
an
this.
older movie. It's hard to find.
It is, and it's not a huge one. But yeah, okay, so there is a novelization of this movie.
What?
And
Is it on
Why?
Audible?
it might be on Audible, yeah. The novelization tells the full story of this movie because the original ending
Jesus.
I can't even
believe there's
comment on this.
Oh my God. Go
there
ahead.
is, and I can't decide which one I would have liked better. The original ending of this story is after everything has happened, the next day they're pranking Muffy out of revenge for all the shit that she did to them.
Absolutely.
And then Skip tries to actually kill Muffy. And Rob, I can't remember
Which one's Skip?
Skip's
her brother.
Hates the dad. Yeah.
Her twin brother.
Yes. And Rob, not sure who that is, jumps in and tries to kill and accidentally kills Skip for real. So the ending of it is much darker. And I think I kind of would have liked that better.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
No, all of this is real stupid.
Yeah, but at the part where they're like, it was all a prank. I think 14 people should have just gone to a big brawl and like 7 people died.
Well, but I feel like that movie has been made and I can't really think of it. But in the early 2000s, I feel like there were movies where like, oh, it's all a big joke. And then people start actually dying for real. But they just cut that part out because they wanted it to be a more uplifting ending. That's the original ending. If anybody wants to read that book and tell us what actually happens in it, I'd be interested. Yeah, so those are my fun facts. Those are my fun facts. So fun.
So let's do scary scale, Jen.
Yep, scary scale.
What's the scary scale, Jen?
Listeners, our scary scale is how we rank how scared we were by this movie. It's not a ranking of the quality of the movie. It's how scared we were when we watched it today. Our 1 example is Ghostbusters, and our 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd, now you have said earlier that this is not a 1 for you.
It's not. It's barely a 2. Like, it's not scary, but that well scene is a little eerie, assuming that that's actually 2 dead heads and a dead body. But it's not, and it's not scary. Like, it's not super scary. This was not a bad movie for me to watch.
Yeah, the well scene got me too. It made me really uncomfortable. Mikey, what are you giving it?
A 1.
A 1. Okay, Mikey's giving it a 1.
No surprise.
I'm going to give it a 2 also, just because the well scene made me super uncomfortable. And when Buffy's running around stabbing, even though I knew that that was all bullshit, it still kind of creeped me out a little bit. So
this week, you guys made me watch the classic April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
What are you guys making me watch next week?
Okay, this is kind of a movie that I've been dreading. We are going to go see the remake of Pet Sematary.
Oh, no.
Is that next week?
That's next week.
Do we need to buy tickets? I'm excited.
God. So this is one of those movies that I watched at that sleepover party that really ruined me. The Omen, the original Omen, and the original Pet Sematary. So I do not want to watch this movie at all.
This movie just really upsets me. The original movie, the story, the book really upsets me. It looks like, I don't know. We'll see what it
I'm
actually
really
is
excited.
like.
I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, my God.
I think I'm going to cry. So
I know you're going to cry.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I might actually cry during the podcast, but I'll try to hold it together.
We should invite the Facebook group to see if they want to come.
We should. That would be cool. Yeah.
You think they'll buy me popcorn?
No, buy your own popcorn.
Yeah. Don't eat stranger popcorn.
I might buy you some popcorn.
Yeah.
Aww.
Die, Mr. Pibb.
I'm out.
Yeah. Too far, Mikey.
You sent me a picture of you drinking it.
They don't have Diet Dr. Pepper. I had to slum it with a Mr. Diet Pibb.
Look, just because you're...
Why couldn't he stay in a doctor school?
Why?
He was like the guy in this movie. He was too silly to get his PhD. All right, guys. So we are a member of the Modern Horrors Podcast Network. Make sure you check out all the podcasts on their network, which are the Modern Horrors Podcast, Death, Dying, and Other Things, and the Final Girls Podcast. And if you're listening to us in their feed, listen to us in our feed because you get the episode 2 days earlier in our feed.
Make your Mondays better.
Yeah, guys, we're just trying to help you start off your week much better.
With a laugh.
With a laugh and a scream.
Yeah.
Usually for me. So if you want to follow Jen on socials, she's at Jen Ferratu on Instagram and Twitter.
If you still want to follow me.
Mikey is mrandolph24 on Instagram and Twitter, and I am at Todd J. Awesome on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, join our Facebook group. It's growing every day, and it's a lot of fun. We do questions of the day, and we just honestly have a lot of great conversations there about a lot of it's horror related, but some of it's not. Like we did like a whole Pets of the Horror Family thread on there that was really great.
I kept posting pictures of my dog. I was like, I'm sorry, I've got to stop.
She's so cute.
She takes such good pictures.
She does, but she is insane, but she's very cute. Anyway, so join the Facebook group.
Yeah, I hate Facebook, but this group is fun.
This is the only thing I use Facebook for.
Me too. We've been reading some listener reviews, but if you send us an email, we might read your email in an episode also and kind of answer
mail.
it.
Yeah, you guys know how good of a reader I am. I'm ready to do it some more.
Yeah, give him a longer thing to read.
Yeah.
We may have to at some point get a phone line they can call into so that we don't have to have Mikey reading it.
Oh.
Like, I need an Audible for viewer mail.
Yeah. How painful is this? You can email us at info@horrorvirgin.com.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about Stephen King, you can email me at jimferratu@gmail.com.
So guys, make sure you check out our website at horrorvirgin.com. You have links to our merch there, our merch store, and of course the blogs up there, and Jen writes all the blog. So you'll be able to read all of her awesome articles and link to our merch store, and just whatever you want to do, you can do there. Yeah, and guys, if you want to help support the show monetarily, we'd really appreciate that. Just go to patreon.com/horrorvirgin patreon.com/horror virgin and sign up there. There's a lot of great levels, a lot of great content for every one of those levels. And honestly, if you can't afford to pay us every month,
if you can't support us through Patreon, just supporting us like through downloads, telling people about the show, leaving reviews, honestly, just downloading, that is a huge help.
I can't believe people listen to this podcast as much as they do. We're blown away by how many people actually have joined the community. In the past, we've only been doing this like 7-8 months. So it's insane that we've grown as much as we have. Welcome to the show, Mikey. But yeah, like 100%. I'm so blown away by how much we grow every month, and we could not be doing that without you guys.
Yeah.
So we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, new Spotify listeners, too. We're growing there. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's insane.
I know. Yeah, so that's going to do it from us. I hope everybody had a fantastic April Fool's Day. Hope you didn't send any fake pregnancy tests to anyone.
Oh,
hope you didn't
not
fake
funny.
your death.
Friends to your island and
your murder
fake
island.
all murders and stuff.
And I mean, I guess if you did, write us an email and tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us how it went.
Yeah, how'd it go? Do you still have friends? Yeah. So I'm Jen.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin Todd, guys.
Have a great week.
Bye, nerds.